Hel- hel- Hello, Simon
Hi.
here. And this one, who's decided to lower the chair for some asinine reason. I don't know why he does that every time he comes here. Seems
More
to.
comfortable.
We're going to be talking about Anita Sarkeesian and our Tropes Vs Women. Now, let's both clarify, we do not want any harm coming to her. There is nothing that I'd say, she doesn't deserve harm coming to her. She's
No.
not a mass murderer. She's not insane like Justin Bieber. She doesn't sing badly. She doesn't sing. Things like that.
Whose level of insanity I was just saying about the graffiti thing, where he apparently thinks he's doing an art form, and everybody else is like, no, no, there are some artists who use graffiti and they are now protected things, but Justin Bieber is not one of them.
If Justin Bieber ever listens to this, I've got to say one thing to you. Don't give up music.
What?
Yes, don't give up music.
Why would you don't want him to give up?
Where would he go if he gave up music?
Don't know. He doesn't seem to have any other talent.
Film.
Okay, well, I can't think of... Wait, actually, has Justin Bieber been in a film at all?
No, he's been in a TV show.
Well, he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot. Right, now let's go back to the subject in hand. Anita Sarkeesian's Trope Vs Women. Now, okay, I've watched 3 of the episodes.
They don't seem that bad, but the points are not properly explored. And I don't mind somebody having an opinion. It's but at least explore the points properly and come up with a good reason why.
Yes, the reasoning behind what she's saying isn't that clear.
Yes, it would be nice if it was maybe a bit more thought out.
Yes. It doesn't seem thought out at all, which is quite odd.
What's an odd thing is the fact that with the supposed time she's got from having this money and everything like that,
Yeah.
doesn't seem to translate into highly detailed debates about stuff.
No, it doesn't.
That's the odd thing, but I guess she wasn't expecting the money in the first place, so...
Let's not say that.
Yeah, much.
She knew what she was doing.
Yeah, but as much?
Oh, no, she knew she was going to get that much.
I don't think anybody
Oh, yes, you can.
can say 100 and something thousands. Why would she expect that?
It's... Right, there's this theory that I've got. I don't mind trolls. On this channel, if you want to troll me, that's fine. I will talk back to you. I don't give a shit. There's a reason for that. They keep coming back.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that...
She was baiting the trolls, Robert. She was baiting them very, very well.
Well, no. If she was baiting, trolls don't fund her.
Yes, but the people who saw her plight fund her.
Yeah.
The feminists.
So...
The people who feel bad.
So she deliberately gets herself trolled so people will provide money.
Yes.
But I don't remember her being massively trolled.
You don't?
Well, not for her... because hasn't she stopped receiving that by now?
Nope.
Oh, okay, so people are still donating.
No, she's still being trolled.
I know she's still being trolled, but her being trolled now...
No, she was being trolled from the start.
Okay, but had she already got the money?
No.
Oh, okay, well in that case I think
Yes.
she was expecting to be trolled, which then leads to sympathetic reaction. But in the end, I don't know.
Well,
she's kind of average, but...
Well, hang on. I'm going to prove a point with just one simple thing. Over Christmas, I improved my technology. I have not seen a single piece of improvement
given the amount of money. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
There's yeah.
I looked at her videos. Okay, they look a little crisper, but that's about it.
The interesting thing is, if you look up at Nash's videos on things like
Yeah.
things like that have shown more improvement, and he's not receiving 1,000 and something.
No.
People.
This is
He is receiving revenue, but he's not receiving. But he hasn't gone out to say, "I need this money to improve my technology."
No, and I haven't gone out to people, my fans. Okay, there are about 5 of them.
But it's more the point. If you go out and say you need to do something like that, you kind of expect more. I mean, an example of what I expected is something like what Nostalgia Critic does.
Well, no, I was more expecting more of a documentary, as in an actual documentary, not her sitting in front of a camera.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting that, but I was expecting. But what I was
well, for the amount of money she got, I was expecting a good documentary.
Expecting documentary length episodes. That was with her actually doing things like paying for copyright. To show clips.
Yes.
Because with that money, you could have paid for copyright to show clips.
Yes.
You don't skimp on that if you have a point to make.
No.
In the end.
No.
It's more the fact
I think
it's
what the trolls haven't realised is that she's trolling them.
Well, yes, she is trolling them, but I'm not entirely sure if she's genuinely serious about some of this stuff or not.
I don't care.
Well, I don't care either, really. But becomes,
I'm not the only place. Right, I know this is silly. The only time I will ever be sexist to a woman, ever, is they can go military service, anything like that.
Well, up to a point. There is a certain point where where even with the most training, a woman's ability to physically drag stuff is less.
Yeah, but that's physical.
Yeah, but
limitation.
You're in the military.
Okay, that's fine.
You're in the military. If I'm in the military, if I'm under a building, or just coming out of a building, and I can't be dragged out because somebody is not strong enough to and if it was a guy there, he could have dragged me out. That's why you don't have people with wheelchairs in active combat service.
True.
Unless they got rocket power wheelchairs, which they don't have. Something like that. But it's the only problem I would have is if due to this whole equality thing, somebody dies, people start dying, and it's
you've got a good point there, mate.
because they're just physically less strong or physically less able to do something. That would be my one thing. Other than that, I don't have an issue.
I have one issue. This is just me personally. I know you're going to... every single feminist is going to come up and slap me from now on, and I don't care.
Okay. Is it about piloting? Because...
No.
Oh, well, there is a thing about piloting, but I always think it just requires extra effort. Well, the thing about piloting is...
the breasts...
No. It's a thing, actually. Supposedly, according to science, according to the whole thing, different brain development, one thing that women are less good at is 3D perspective thinking. Now, that, some people would say when it comes to... No, it's a thing, apparently.
Yeah, okay.
Like, parking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where you see and you can actually sometimes... And I have been there and I've been able to predict which is a man and which is a woman based on the amount of time it takes them to get into parking space. And I've been able to do this...
Fine.
Pretty well, actually. When you're looking and thinking 5 minutes later, you say, and I've never been wrong. Now, the thing is... some people would say, some people would say that means that if you have a woman pilot, that's a problem. I don't, because it just means that, to me, it just means that if they pass the pilot's exam, that means if they want to pass the pilot's exam, maybe they had to work massively extra hard to do that. But the point is, they have still got the skills to do that. So I don't have an issue with that.
Now,
it's
I don't have an issue with women drivers. I really don't. As long as they pay attention to the road, and as long as they
there are certain
obey
things,
the speed limits, do things correctly, I don't care. If they're fucking about in their mirror, then I care.
In essence, really, it's like so long as women drivers can do everything that male drivers can do, excluding, then that's fine. And that's fine. It's a fact that it's the only reason anyone would have a problem is if as a guy you did the same thing.
Yeah.
And people said, well, you're a guy, you should be able to do that. And if a woman did that, they say, well, we can't prosecute this for this person driving because it's a woman. Now that would be bad, and that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen. What I have a problem with is, okay, this is going to be weird for everybody, including you, I think, Rob, but there is one convertible car, which I think would be, I couldn't let any woman I know drive it. It's not that they couldn't, it's not that they wouldn't be able to, it's just that I would feel emasculated if I saw a woman driving that car.
Okay, Aston Martin?
An Aston Martin convertible.
I don't know about that. There are certain... I would say...
Every single other car on the face of the planet, they can drive a Bugatti Veyron for all I fucking care. They can drive a Bugatti Veyron convertible.
I wouldn't say Aston Martin is...
I just can't stand...
It's not a massively male car in a way, I'd say. It is a male car, but it's not a super male car, I'd say. But in the end... But I don't know, in the end
It's just me.
In the end, I just think that in some cases, it's just the person driving the car just looks a bit silly.
Yes.
Maybe just a cultural thing, but there are certain cars where... put a guy in one of those hairdresser convertible things, and you wonder why he's in the car.
Yes.
Now, the same thing in a way may apply to the Aston Martin. If to be honest though, we see it so little.
Yeah, we see so little women driving Astons.
When's the last time you actually saw a woman driving an Aston Martin?
If a woman wants to drive an Aston Martin, just as long as it's not a convertible, please.
No, it's not the case that I can't actually say if it looks. I can't actually say even if there's a cultural thing of not being the type of car to drive. I can't say because it's just not. I don't know. But I would say if somebody wants to drive it, that's fine. As long as they don't. So long as they are aware of, in some cases, a cultural thing. I mean, I remember on Top Gear where they had two guys in a Porsche convertible.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, doesn't this make us look? Yes, this does make us look less manly. On that one, it's just a thing that people assume.
It's the women out there. It's the only car I would ever drive as a convertible. I can't drive anything else. I look like a complete tit.
No, there's other cars that you can drive without this convertible without that. You just can't drive the little hairdresser type cars.
Right, okay. Explain a convertible car that I could drive.
Okay, a convertible car of something like the bigger Mercedes is something you can drive, I'd say.
What, an SLR?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There are certain, but when you get to the small hairdresser type cars and the little, the two-seater,
the small Lamborghini sort of things,
and particularly the ones that are bright red or something, those types, those are little types.
Yeah, right.
But it's just if you're in the end. The only reason that trope exists is that kind of thing exists is because if you have that kind of money, why would you buy that car? Because people are going to judge you for that.
True.
You could buy another car.
But what I I just...
It's all about image in the end. You don't need a car like that. It's all about the image, and people don't want to be associated with that image of like, it's a, is he?
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
true.
you know, it's just like...
What I think... Now, getting back to the main subject, which was Anita Sarkeesian, is...
Well, we were actually commenting on the related issue, because it is...
True.
But I guess,
I would have actually been more interested if she'd done something actually interesting, like sexism in the car industry.
Oh, that's right.
That's rife.
So,
yeah.
My.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Nobody would have gone... No, I would have actually contributed to... I'd love to have seen, if she'd done a proper documentary, gotten interviews, things like that, taken about 1.5 years to do it. And
effectively, do what other people are doing already for less money.
yes.
I mean, an example of that, of what other people have done with less money, is podcasts where they go to things like MagFest and do interviews.
No.
Well, that's with less money, though.
Yeah, that's with less money, but it's not quite the same thing.
Well, I don't know about that.
The Brony documentary.
Okay.
That was done with less money than she got.
Yeah, it's just there's a wider variety of things. The podcast one is just less money, and that's just people going to MagFest, doing interviews, stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
Now, but that's an example. That's just one example. You got the Brony documentary but it's just an example of people doing more with people doing more with less money and less time than somebody who has more money and a lot of time, apparently, because that's what the money was for, to allow to focus on the project. I'd like to see some focus, but in the end, the only reason this has come up is because because a lot of focus is being put on this person, and the fact that they're being effectively paid to do it. That's the difference.
Yes, here's the thing that interests me. The money, I had a problem with the money, and I still have the problem with that money.
My issue with the money is more the fact that if you is the whole, you have been given this money, you're focusing on the project. I'm not seeing the results.
I would have taken 1 year before a single episode came out.
I would have. I don't know. No, what I'd have done with that.
Go on.
I'd have actually used that money to, like I was saying before we started recording, actually use it to buy the rights to actually show clips to show what you mean and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, actually maybe get some limited licensing just to be able to say, here's a direct example of what I mean by this particular type of sexism against women, and then you can just fixate something like Metal Gear Solid. Oh, that creepy flirting scene, flirting scene from Metal Gear. Okay, but anyway, it's on YouTube and it's creepy as anything.
I know the one you mean.
Yeah, but anyway, that's an example of sexism.
Yeah,
and if ever there was one, but that inserting, say, that clip just to illustrate and explaining.
Now, one thing that annoys me about what she's been doing is that she's been doing research, but she hasn't been doing research.
Oh yeah, the pile of games, that you said that was relevant.
Yeah, there's some. If you look at the pile, there's a picture going around. Well, she's actually put the picture up on her Flickr or something of her standing next to a pile of games. You look at some of those games.
Those games
there are no male or female protagonists in some of those games.
How can you actually have sexism?
Yeah, we're talking things like there was what was it? I think I can probably find it. I own it. It is a lame racer.
A lame racer?
Yeah. it's a not very good racer, and...
Hmm.
Oh, yes! Battlefield 3.
No, that doesn't even have a gender.
That doesn't have...
We don't even see if they're male or female.
Yeah, Blur. Blur is a racing game where there is no genders.
No, you're just...
You're in a car, you're racing, that is it. There are no genders, there's no...
Oh, it does have
Well-
strange Mario style
Yeah, but that's
weaponry,
about it.
but yeah,
But
apart from
that's
that, there's
about
no genders.
it.
So you can't really complain the
Well,
fact
no,
you
let's-
can't really comment on the Blur. It's
God, what the hell? What else is going on with my
yeah.
keyboard?
You did just have a yum yum.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. But you can't really comment on Blur too
by the
much
way,
because
for those
of that.
people who don't know what a yum yum is, it's a stick donut.
It's a bit more than that. I think the pastry's slightly different.
Sarkeesian.
Okay. Oh, that picture, yeah.
Yeah, that picture. I need to find that picture.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, oh god, I've got to go back to a bloody library. Ah, here we go. Right.
Well, that's...
Ah! No, back. What?
Okay, so...
Right.
Well, essentially, there's... some of these games are actually... Can we copy and paste and zoom in so we can zoom in ourselves? No, click back on the... No, click back on your...
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so try copy and pasting.
Well, I'm trying to find it. God damn it, Flecky, you're not being helpful.
Or right click.
No. Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay, well, essentially, there were a few games in there that we're just taking a look at it now.
Yeah.
That we were a little confused by.
Yeah, dubious is not to say the word.
Clive Barker's Jericho, I've got to say, is a little odd because admittedly, I've only just started playing it, but I think it is Clive Barker's Jericho. Jericho.
Yeah, there's Blur there.
Yeah, it's because so far there's been
Battlefield 3 limited edition. Why the hell has she got that?
Yeah, but Jericho is a very interesting example because the start intro, and that's what I got to because it keeps messing up when I try and start it so far, is it features both women and men in the fighting unit, and they are equally horribly killed. And they seem to be and there's no bias, I don't think.
Fallen Invaders. Heavy Rain.
A lot of them. Some I don't see where the point is, but they actually do.
Metal.
I've
Another
got to.
racer. Huh?
I've got to say I don't get that. Yeah.
I don't get that.
Far Cry 2. If she can actually stick it. That's
If she can stick it, she gets thumbs up from both of us.
Yeah, malaria.
Ugh. Oh, right, here's another one. Skate 3.
That's about skating, yeah.
What?
The interesting thing is, I cannot see Duke Nukem anywhere there. I mean, I may have missed it, but...
No, I don't think you have.
If you're looking for gender... The whole thing with gender stereotypes and stuff like that, Duke Nukem is the king of that, but...
Yeah.
But, again, it's something that so many people have commented on. But yeah, essentially, some of these ones don't make sense, and some of these ones just some of the ones they're minor points.
Okay, why has she got both Dead Risings?
I don't know. Because your character isn't male? Character isn't female?
It's
or something?
male, but
Character's
he doesn't... There's no sexism towards...
No.
Not
really, I can't
No,
think of
not
any.
really,
It's just
no.
no. I mean, maybe the point is the character is male. Because, but if that's the point, it's a bit weird.
Okay, now I can see why she's got Dishonored.
Okay.
If you don't know the game, if you haven't played too much of it, you won't understand.
Okay, but still, having a strong, as Dishonored is in a way counters its own trope. It counters that in the fact that one of the main characters,
dies.
is the Empress.
Yeah, and dies
And
straight away.
Yeah, but the Empress is one of the good, strong political characters.
Yeah, but she only gets like 5 minutes worth of gameplay.
But the point is, her actions reverberate throughout that and the other ones.
I suppose so, yeah.
So she actually has a lot more. Well, she may be. She may die in this side intro.
What am I looking at? Halo 3.
Now, Halo 3 is
Why?
okay, Halo. I actually get the point.
No, yeah.
Cortana is clearly designed for teenage boys. There's no way around it. And just for guys in general. But I don't mind that because Cortana actually has a personality.
Yeah.
Because they could have just made it no personality.
I've got to say this. I have got issue with Halo 4.
Okay,
Do you know what the problem is with Halo 4?
Cortana dies?
Yes.
Well, that's not really an issue.
It gets worse.
Okay.
The graphics on Halo 4 are really good in the wrong area.
Okay.
She is a perfect representation of a female body, almost, just in blue.
She was going that way anyway.
She was going that way anyway.
Every time the technology improves,
that's true. But she goes insane, and you're on a mission to sort of try and save her.
Okay. Well, they actually did come up with a kind of good reason for that.
Yeah, they did, but
why they killed off Cortana?
I've got to give Anita Sarkeesian credit, but she hasn't talked about it.
About the fact that the one strong female lead has gone insane.
In the distress trope of women in distress.
Yeah.
I would have talked about that for 10 minutes.
I don't know, the fact that you have to as a Master Chief, but in effect, she's been in distress before, and it's a...
No, really.
Oh, right, when the ship is on the Halo 1, when they have to download her into the Master Chief, otherwise...
Yeah.
She'll fall into enemy hands. That's in distress again. It's averted distress.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But in effect, the fact that
she got juiced. That's another bloody racing game, and I don't think there's any girls in that.
Maybe that's the point. I think a couple of these are the point there. They don't have.
Now, if she even touches the idea of StarCraft 2.
StarCraft 2 has a strong female lead, which is weird the way you touch that. Yeah, like there's real sexism in StarCraft and StarCraft 2.
There's real sexism. There is actually a damn good story in StarCraft. And, okay, in Wings of Liberty... plug your ears, Rob.
I'm fine.
Right, okay.
But yes, apparently spoiler alert for StarCraft Wings of Liberty.
Which is StarCraft 2. If you haven't played it by now, blah. There's a Let's Play on this channel. Reyna is going to save
Kerrigan, because
Kerrigan.
pretty much he's feeling guilty about the whole thing about.
And also the Queen of Blades is the answer to stopping the Zelnaga.
Yeah, which is very nice
but-
because they were never actually identified as being good or evil.
But I think there is something that Blizzard did very well with Kerrigan. You fell in love with her in...
In fact, she's actually...
Rayna fell in love with Kerrigan in StarCraft 1. You fell in love with Rayna as a character in StarCraft 1, and you want to help him save a character that you feel attached to.
And it's not even a damsel in distress thing, this is a betrayal.
This is the problem I have, is that...
Yeah.
I can understand things like Mario, yes.
Except that Mario is also subverted by the fact that Princess Peach is actually a pretty strong character, fighting character. And strong in general. I mean, when Princess Peach is captured, she actually, as I recall, helps Bowser to win against a superior enemy.
Yes.
So...
I just think...
So in some cases it's Princess Peach. Yes, he does get captured.
Oh,
Yes, he does get captured. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But often enough, she pulls her own weight.
Yeah. What I think is...
And also, roles change. Roles change, and sometimes what seems to be the case isn't the case. Remember this, Mario started out with Mario being the bad guy.
Yeah,
in all this.
Yeah.
It's just like,
no, good guy.
No, he was a bad guy. The very first game, Mario is effectively just beating up a gorilla for no reason.
Oh, I suppose so, yeah.
It's just like he is most definitely. He was just this guy who was just beating somebody up, and it was just like, and you. I don't recall if you were fighting against Mario or not, but you were... No, the throwing barrel thing was actually, I think, to stop Mario.
Yeah, but you were controlling Mario.
No, I think the first one, throw a barrel, was where you were trying to stop him.
No, you were controlling Mario, you weren't controlling Bowser.
No, because the monkey threw a barrel, as I recall.
Yeah. But you didn't control the monkey, you controlled Mario.
Okay, so you were against... But his reasons for doing it were not great.
Yeah. But I personally feel that this whole Anita Sarkeesian thing is going to blow over once she's done this.
Thing is, I think.
But what I think she's done is every single other one of her videos is going to be watched.
I think the problem is with that she's not people that until she actually uses that money that she's been given, it's not going to blow over because people are going to be expecting her to do something with it. So in a way, the fact that she's got all that money will mean people are going to expect her to do something, even if she doesn't actually can't think of anything to do with that.
That is very true.
Because when the internet community gives all that money, they actually want to see you do.
Even people who haven't given money still want to see something done with it. We are a community. The internet is a community that says we don't tolerate people screwing us over. Let's face it.
It's not so much screwing us over in a way. But if she actually has no.
Let's face it. Day one Gary's incident. If you see what I mean.
I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not. I'm still not sure. Gary's. I know. Yeah, that is true.
That was screwing. Yes. Everybody over, and
it was. That's true, but it's more the case that I'm still not sure she actually thought she'd get as much money as she thought she would. I think maybe she'll get half of that or less, but it's clear from the content she's been putting out that she didn't plan on using this money, because I think in a way she didn't plan on having it. And that's the difference. But she's actually got to do something with it now, which means that she won't fade away because she won't fade away for quite a while because she's got to actually make the programs that she was going to make.
Yeah, we haven't seen all the programs yet.
Admittedly, we
the
haven't.
current date, which is
But
2014 9th or 8th of January.
but if I were going to do that, then there were many ways I could use that money.
Yes.
I could hire a cheap. I could actually hire a cheap kind of studio thing.
Yes.
Make my stuff look better. Maybe have a couple of other people commenting and actually having a bit of debate.
Well, no, I would actually have interviews in the actual.
Yes, some interviews in your little studio.
Yes.
Which, because if a small time band can hire a studio,
Well, yeah.
to do that, I'm sure somebody with that amount of money can actually do some interviews with.
Okay, we're talking cheap studio or even Skype interviews.
Yes, Skype interviews with people who have made stuff to ask about. Are you aware this could be perceived as being that, and ask their opinion. Stuff like that. But just making more use of the money because.
Yes.
But it's making use of money, but until that money is actually used up, I think there's going to be eyes on that channel, and
but here's the problem.
In a good or a bad way.
Here is the problem. I think the problem is she wants the eyes on the channel.
Yeah, so that's fine.
She wants eyes on her website.
Yes,
she wants eyes on her.
Well, yes, she has eyes on her, but the point...
Yeah, but the problem is that every time, as soon as this is done, she can go back to her old stuff, and she's still got eyes on her, and guess what? Ooh, strange thing, all her other videos have adverts on them.
Well, I expect they've already got adverts on them.
Yeah, all the other videos, apart from her Tropes Against Women, have... her video games Tropes Against Women... have adverts.
Yeah.
This is the problem I have.
I think
I would say I've got this much money, no adverts on any of my videos.
I wouldn't say that. But what I would say is
really.
I would say is what I would hope would not happen.
Go on.
Is spending a load of is for her series to end without her spending of money, and then mysteriously on her other projects she normally does, they suddenly become a lot higher quality and a lot better. And you get the impression that's where the money went. That would be annoying, because if you're going to make that kind of appeal, you have to have a plan for actually using it for what it was designed for, not for enriching your own other video content.
Okay. I have got to say, she's coming up with the goods.
In a
sense.
In not as much detail as I'd want, really. But
no.
In the...
I would have extended the number of episodes.
I would have extended the themes of it myself.
Yes.
One of the problems is that if you're going to... You've got to examine it in detail if that's what you claim
also,
to be doing.
now, here's the interesting thing. She is doing her argument and her argument alone.
Well, really, you need to do it like an essay and have one side, the other side.
The other side.
But even if the other side is completely wrong, it's about psychology and everything.
Yeah, and that is how you put your point across, not shouting at... she is. She's somebody on her soapbox shouting what she wants to say, and she's not letting anyone get a word in edgeways.
Pretty much.
Now, okay, I've got to admit, she does have the problem that the internet basically almost puked up in her face. But I think she was wearing an umbrella at the time. I think she was 98% expecting this.
She probably was expecting it, but I think the way she phrased certain things was maybe a bit like
the phrasing, the way she did things for her Kickstarter video was fuel for a fire that she lit the match of.
Well, maybe insulting certain things and things like that, which means that get the right reaction that you want.
Well, let's put it this way. She put the right images on her Kickstarter page.
So people would react. Yeah.
React every single...
You're attacking
I'm
the
a
game
gamer,
franchise they like.
and I knew what she was doing.
Well, I think,
But
it was...
for people with less intelligence.
Well, it was
less.
more. Well, I'd say it was more. I'd say it was more. Also, maybe if you were going that way, it might have been designed to actually attack game franchises people like. Just so people say, "I'm annoyed." Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was fuel to a fire that really, really. I didn't expect her not to get this.
I didn't expect to get that much money. But I don't. But if she actually,
the only thing I backlash is she hasn't spent the money.
I haven't seen any evidence.
This is the thing. Sorry, Rob. I was
no, it's fine.
Doing that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the evidence of the money being spent. If she comes out and says, "Here is where I spent the money," I don't mind.
Then it's not so much.
Wish her well.
It's not so much itemizing. If I actually see evidence of this money being, like, for instance, I mean, I know going back to something like when you watch something like, for instance, Linkara, Angry Joe, stuff like that.
Well, Angry Joe, Linkara doesn't.
Oh no, I'd say Linkara does, because no, he does. Remember, he doesn't just get a camera and put it.
True, like I do.
He doesn't eat up, but he actually does do. You know, you get the cyber mat.
Yeah,
you get all that stuff. You get. He's done the whole story with the ship and all this.
Yeah.
Stuff. But thing is, that's evidence of time and effort and some money.
Yeah.
It's a green screen, but there's still some money. Now, as far as I can tell, I've yet to see that in the videos. In her videos.
Now, there's another issue.
I mean,
we've been told that she's been stealing footage from other gaming channels. That
I find annoying because
I find annoying, but not unexpected.
Because you wouldn't want to, you wouldn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
But
other
people do as
what
well.
I have a problem with is not giving credits.
Not giving credits is annoying. But that's a personal annoyance of mine because you see, it's just not that I create anything myself, but I see people. But I see people that when you see people saying, "I've created this,"
yeah,
and then somebody else says, "No, I put the effort in to create this."
You just changed the colour.
Yeah, or in some cases not even that. Just stole it. And then
I've had that. I've had that. Yeah.
And that I find annoying because at least give the people the kind of the say, well, somebody else created it and don't claim it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, for one thing, you'll get found out.
Now, I don't mind if she basically put like a credit page saying, "This is every single video I've used. I'm not going to put links to them, but I'm going to tell you who did them."
Yeah.
That I wouldn't have a problem with.
No, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
And
I would just have
Yeah.
But it's not providing any.
Now, I wouldn't say. I think people would say if she put links in, they'd still say she's still stealing their work.
But at least it's given the credit.
At least it's giving them the credit. I wouldn't.
I just make it look as if they're actually this is all stuff she got herself, and then it's like, oh wait, actually she didn't.
Yeah, I personally feel that.
I mean, I'm well aware of the fact that a lot of internet videos start out. If you were to try and trace where a lot of internet videos started,
yeah,
it would go from this person was from this person, and it just goes through like that.
Yeah,
and but at least they provide credit.
Oh, for God's sakes! I've nicked a couple of ideas off people, and
it's not just ideas.
Well, I've nicked the basic idea, but I've changed it for my own purposes, it's not really that noticeable.
It's not just ideas; it's the actual clips.
Ah, okay,
for instance, the Nicolas Cage "You Don't Say" one.
Okay.
It's the meme, the little drawn picture.
Yes.
You don't say. Well, that originally comes from a film.
Yeah.
Which Nicolas Cage is in, which somebody posted as a clip.
Yeah.
Which somebody then did a little drawing.
Yeah.
Based on one particular scene, which was then posted,
Yeah.
which then went viral from various posting. Well, that's like 5 times removed, and I would say the majority of people don't know where it comes from.
No.
By now, they just know that it's the you don't say meme picture.
Yeah.
But the point is, that's the internet. But the point is, when you just remove something from somebody's site and it's direct, just make a mention.
Make a mention, yes.
Because otherwise, it seems like, for one thing, otherwise it might seem like you've actually paid for those clips when you haven't. If somebody might go, well, that's where the money was used, and somebody else turns around and says,
Clever.
no, it wasn't. And then, but it does make you open to people accusing you of that.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I would say.
Yes.
And you've got to be a bit careful when you've made an appeal for that amount.
Well, no, she only made it for like 6,000.
Oh, when you made an appeal for 6,000, and other people are making videos and they're not making appeals,
No.
you gotta be a bit more careful, I think.
Yeah, okay, she's got more money than she asked for, but
she asked for 6,000 in the first place. Why would you? There are plenty of people I watch on the internet who don't ask for 6,000, and they
for
make
fuck's
good
sake,
content.
Angry Joe,
not just Angry Joe,
barely 6,000, I'd say.
Not just Angry Joe. I mean,
but I think he's put a lot more of his own money into his own work.
Yeah,
than
there's Angry. But
there's more than £6,000 worth of $6,000 worth of work into his.
I would
web
say
series.
over time, yes.
Over time,
but that's a gradual thing done through often little adverts.
Yeah.
And the standard way is you get little adverts and people watch them, and then they fund your channel.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
That's what I'm doing.
People are fine to do that.
Yeah.
I do that. I do that myself. I will listen to the advert. I will not skip it because I'm just like, no, I want to watch this advert.
Yeah, I want to support this person. I will sit there and watch this advert.
Yes, exactly. But and I don't really see why you need an appeal for 6,000 to do something which you can do. You don't need it.
Well,
in the end, it's just a bit weird.
If she took if she gave credit to the people who recorded the video clips,
that I would be fine with,
and asked for no money, or
even be
up to 1,000. I'd give her up to 1,000 if she could improve her audio and video.
Okay.
For improvements in audio and video on the entire.
Well, that would actually make sense.
That would make sense.
Because if you're trying to do a documentary, so you actually need to, you might feel
this,
you need to do that.
And I'd sort of say, if I was doing something like this, I'd sort of say, I'm doing this first 6 episodes of this series off my own back.
Yeah.
I want to see how much money I make and how much interest I get.
Yeah.
If you want me to do the rest, I'll ask for money.
Yeah.
I'd do it that way. I wouldn't.
But not necessarily even ask for money. Just like watch.
Donations.
Just watch the adverts I put up. Even I just think
you can't, nowadays you can't actually ask to do that because.
No, you can't. But you can just say.
Well, no, ask for donations.
No, actually, you don't need. But it's just I don't. But that's not actually strictly true. Remember. You know the adverts thing. You can actually just integrate that into your channel.
Yeah, I know.
You can actually say, but so I think you can do funding that way.
Sorry, I don't know what you mean.
I mean, you don't have to ask for donations. I think this whole asking for donations thing doesn't make any sense because but it doesn't make much sense because why is only one person asking for donations and getting them? Clearly, people.
Yes.
It just strikes me like
yes.
Oh yeah, because
other people have done
like
videos that I would say have better quality. Okay, they weren't in front of the actual.
Yeah, but like that that guy with the who does the stick figures.
Oh, he does that for a job.
Oh yeah, he does that for a job. But the point
no, you've got a point there.
He doesn't ask for it. He doesn't say...
He didn't do it to begin with as a job.
No, it developed from there.
He developed. Now, there was someone else, Brony Community again, there was this awesome documentary that he did for... Okay, it was for schoolwork. It was for a college essay.
But still, yeah.
But I'd say he put money into it.
He probably did put some of his own money into it.
Yeah. And from what I can see from Anita Sarkeesian, I can't see a single penny.
I just can't see a difference, and that's a weird thing. So maybe
if there wasn't the problem of the stealing of the audiovisual game footage,
which I find annoying because I would have at least have said
if she did all the game footage herself, or
hired somebody to get the game footage, even.
Hell yeah.
You can hire somebody to play a game, get to there, and then you can record it.
Yes.
You have to steal it.
You don't have to steal it.
Or even invite them on and give the people who you've taken the game footage from coverage in some way. Just in some way, recompense them for what they've done.
Then I would not have had so much trouble with
the money thing.
With the money thing.
But penny
it's what she's doing.
I just find
I don't have a trouble with the subject. I don't care.
People have their opinions. She's got her opinion.
She's got her opinion. I've got my own opinion. If she wants to rant on what I'm doing wrong, more than welcome.
Yeah, but that's the point in the end. But it's the fact that...
Okay, now what I do have a problem with... Okay, I'm ranting on it. Yeah, fine, I'm ranting on it. But I'm not being offensive. I do have a problem with...
I think she's being one-sided, which means that
No, this is not about her. This was the offensive treatment she got, and
I just think
it was overboard.
I just think in the end there are plenty of people like that who will just campaign and who just campaign and then will just, and you will never hear, and when you try and say but, and they will go and they will just shove a billboard in your face.
Yeah.
She's just somebody who has a channel and does that.
Yeah, well, no, it's more how she got treated when this came out.
Yeah, that's the point. She's like an awful lot of other people. It's just I remember there was a stupid thing where it was a group of feminists campaigning against a men's club, just because it was a men's club. There was no other reason.
Oh, I see
just because it had guys in it. Just it had guys who just wanted to be able to probably just chat and have some beers.
Yeah.
And just talk without there being some women there. And apparently that was something that involved, because that meant it had to campaign and get
now,
really hyped up about it.
But
it was pointless.
What I would have said is, you can have a women's club. We don't care.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Is that the guys don't care about the women having a club, but in the end, you couldn't tell them otherwise. They were just campaigning and saying like, "Oh, it's got guys there."
But I was more talking about the.
Yeah, but the point is that when they were talking to them, trying to find out what it was about.
She was being death threats, offensive. Okay.
What I'm saying is, in the end, yeah, they had their opinion, and they were just kind of doing trying to shove it that one, but they weren't getting death threatened. They were just, there was just everybody laughing at them, saying you're stupid extremists, really, because they were their own worst enemy.
Okay,
but
now
I don't think death threats are valid. What I do think is valid is is maybe ridicule. If what the person is saying is ridiculous, then no, really. It's a. You put yourself out there doing a documentary, and if you start complaining about certain things which make no sense, then people will just laugh at you. That's a sign to actually think and maybe think what you're doing.
Some people would say I'm being sexist on this one again. She put herself out there. Now, okay, doesn't mean she should have been insulted and with death threats and things like that. But
I just think it's not death threats, but
I think that one of the main things that got her all this attention was all the hubbub that came out from what was going on.
I think that yes, that also got her attention. But I think I'm guessing from that she was talking about stuff like this before.
Yes,
on the channels.
She was talking stuff about technology, things like that.
Okay, so
and I was looking at her going, yeah, okay, fine. I can see your points on some things. I can see your points on. I can't see your points on others.
Okay, well that's fine. So
but
it's not
so
it's not like she's changed her tune. It's just the fact that in trying to get subscription for this.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't call. She's crafty.
Well, she's crafty, but in the end, it's somebody. In the end, I think in the end with this, if you end up just a load of people just laughing at her because she hasn't thought her arguments through, then that's the same as an awful lot of other people.
Yeah.
But the fact that she hasn't thought her arguments through will be annoying to a fair amount of people if they've actually donated money and.
Yes.
She's actually just not researching.
No.
It's the money part, which means that some people have a bit more vested interest than others. But
quite.
Yeah. But it's like some opinions, some things we've been looking and saying, well, that's complete rubbish, and there's no basis in fact for what she's saying.
There are some opinions where I just think she's got the wrong end of the stick,
and also that she's not actually played or researched the game that she was talking about.
Yes,
a few things.
Yes.
So
that's even worse.
So it doesn't seem
she's not even had first-hand. She hasn't asked a female gamer.
Not even asking a female.
Well, what I would have done is you can't play all those games yourself.
Actually, you can.
You are?
You can ask somebody to play to a specific scene.
Yeah, but you've got to play to there.
Yes, and you can watch somebody playing if you can't play it yourself. The point is, that's what the money was about, I thought.
Yeah.
Or at least watch a walkthrough. Before making a comment.
Yes.
If I were to type in on most games...
Well, here's the funny thing.
Online,
there are a lot of girl gamers that you could probably watch a walkthrough of.
You don't need girl gamers even. No, if the problem is that you don't know about the game you're talking about, and it's there are certain games I have difficulty playing. Fighting games I'm not great at. So,
yeah.
But that doesn't stop me, watching a walkthrough online,
or things like StarCraft. I'm not very good at strategy.
Or taking the time, to actually look. But there have been some comments where I'd be like, "You clearly haven't played the game and know nothing about it."
Yeah.
That's just being lackluster in your thing, which is what in the end you're supposedly doing documentary.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty much
she said it as a series of videos. What I have a problem with is she should have said, I am going to do a documentary in a series of videos.
Right.
Then...
and actually...
and give it more effort.
You mean actually well-researched thing?
Well, no, what I've got to say, there is going to be a feminist who's going to find this video and go, you put no effort in. Well, I don't say that I will ever put effort into any video. If I put effort into a video, it's something because I want to show.
Well, I think it's
subject,
more.
I
think
want
it's more the case that you haven't said you are doing a documentary.
Yeah,
you haven't.
I've never asked for money.
Well, it's more that you've said you've never said you're doing a documentary. You've said I am going to play a computer game or I'm going to talk about this, but you haven't said you've done a lot of research. That you've put a lot of time aside to do it.
No.
And stuff like that. This is just something that you've done because you've got an idea.
Quite.
It's different when you're lauded as somebody who does research, and then you don't research the game you play. When you have Well, when you have those piles of games that you bought to supposedly find out about, then
I
it's clear that
think-
you haven't played them.
I think that was her worst mistake.
Yeah, maybe not owning the games gives you... Actually, it doesn't give you an excuse to not know about them, because if I were to look up something like Persona 4, say,
Yeah.
I could find out a lot of information, and I could probably find a playthrough of Persona 4. As an example.
True.
I haven't played it, but...
Now, it's more the games that she chose that confuse me.
The games she shows I don't get, because there are other ones which are far more contentious. But
Well, I think we've gone on for...
essentially, but
Oh, fuck me.
yeah, but essentially, it's
We've gone on for an hour.
okay. Yeah, so if we leave off here, so essentially, it's essentially
Better.
the effort. Essentially, yeah, people have opinions, but if you've been paid to do that, just show some effort, and in the end, don't steal people's videos. And
So, thank you very much, Brohoof.
yeah,
Thanks for watching. Leave your comments. I don't
Yeah.
care if you're a feminist and you disagree with us.
yeah. I mean,
If
it's
you want to disagree with us, I will happily have a polite and pleasant discussion with you. I will not swear at you. I will not call you a stupid woman.
and
I will not call you stupid.
and most
If
of
you
all,
insult me, I will insult you back. That is the only thing
Yeah.
I'd say.
and most of all, and this is the irony. More than the person we're talking about, we will not accept only one-sided arguments. We will actually think about stuff and actually
We will respond. I will respond.
and actually consider changing our argument, because in the end,
I will respond. Okay, you've made a valid point.
so ironically, if we have put in more detail than the person we are talking about, then that will be the ultimate irony.
If this gets enough views and if enough people comment on this,
Well, we can certainly do a couple of quick comments.
we'll do another hour video responding to every single comment.
Well, yes, but however many comments are coming, we could at some point pick them up and do that. So
Yeah.
it's we are free to actually ask questions and maybe change our opinions.
Yeah.
So because we strive not to be like the person we are talking about with one-sided arguments.
Quite.
In the end,
Quite.
which
Okay.
and we didn't have to be paid massive amounts of money for it.
No, we only ask that you watch an advert or two.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Bye.
bye.